Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. In today's video I'm going to be going through my monthly reset process, planning, budgeting, looking at my goals, all of that good stuff. And this is sort of based on a few different things that I've seen in the sort of lifestyle community from Carter Sullivan and Michelle B and how they do a monthly reset, and I just wanted to sort of get in on that because I do like doing these types of things and I hoped that it would be useful for all of you. In case you are new here, my name is Kira. I'm a third year PhD student based in Dublin, Ireland, and on this channel I talk about all things related to being productive while doing a PhD and maintaining good work-life balance and goal setting and all of that good stuff. So if you like that type of content, be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you never miss a video. So you will see a few little snippets from things that'll be from my Notion template. I will have all the information for how to get either the PhD student or just the productivity version down below. So let's talk about achievements for the past month. So I am doing the 12-week year goal setting method. So all of the goals that I'm trying to achieve in these 12 weeks, you'll see in a previous video, which I will have linked down below. I'm not going to go through everything in detail, but I basically just want to talk about what progress I've made. I think I've really been feeling like achievements I largely feel around my brand this month. I do think that has been the area of life that I've felt has been the most successful this month. So 3 big things that happened with my brand this month. So first of all, my Instagram account, I was really good with being consistent and I did, I think 18 out of 20 of the posts I planned for the month. You know, I was trying to do 5 posts a week and my account had gone from like 4,250 followers to 8,700 followers, which is crazy in like a month. It's more than doubled and that's just been a huge, I don't know, I still can't really believe it. So I definitely feel like it's so important to pay attention to the input goals rather than the output goals. I think I would have put down for this 12 weeks a goal of 10,000 followers, which would have been, I think, a bit of a lofty goal. But because I'm focusing on input goals, which are what you're doing rather than what you're getting, to post consistently and regularly as much as I can and post a mixture of reels and feed posts, because I was focused on doing that, it meant I got more, I think, because if I had been focused on the followers, I probably would have been thinking, oh, well, I'm on track. I can, you know, slow down in the posting and just, you know, let it go. But because I'm just like, no, I need to get the posts, which is what's more important, it has led to even more growth than I could have expected. I think it's plausible that I could hit 10,000 followers this week, which would be insane. And that will be only about 5 weeks into the 12-week year process. So that is a big one. The next one is brand deals. So I've managed to secure a number of brand deals this month, which has been really exciting because it's definitely a year of, I suppose, development of the channel. It's been 2 years that I've been working on my YouTube channel and now it's getting to the point where it really is starting to earn a bit of money, which is nice. And I think it's just been a nice way to celebrate the fact that there has been like 2 years almost of basically unpaid work going into this that is now sort of coming to fruition. And then the last thing that I really felt was a big achievement with the brand this month was that I was asked to do a presentation for 200 business master's students in one of the Dublin universities around productivity. So I was asked to give a talk in productivity, which is just like, am I dreaming? Like, to have somebody basically see my channel and see that as useful in terms of productivity advice, I just think is beyond me. So that has definitely been an achievement that I feel for this month. It's hard to like just put down 3, and I just feel like there has been a number of ones in other areas of life, but I feel like these are the 3 that I feel most proud of this month. So basically with the brand this month, I do just want to keep it up and try and focus a little bit more on other areas of my life so that I can feel this sense of accomplishment with a different area next month. That would be, I think, a good thing. Now it's a good time to think about what were some of your favorite moments of the month. So for me, for sure, one of my favorite moments in January was the bank holiday Monday, I think just after New Year's, where we went to a family dinner in my mom's house. and she had made like this really nice like Italian feast, and Italian food is definitely my favorite food. And because me and Jack were in isolation for Christmas up until the 2nd of January, we had this dinner on the 3rd basically as the Christmas that we didn't get to have. So they made Italian food, which was so nice, and we just had a really nice time. The food was amazing. It was great to see everyone, and it was just one of the nicest days, I think. So that's definitely one. I think the second highlight for me for the month was getting to go to Galway. I love visiting my dad and my stepmom in Galway, and I loved everything about going. I think I went down on quite a late evening train, and it was pretty dead. There was literally nobody in my carriage, which was so nice, and I was able to just read my book and relax, and the whole time that I was there was just really relaxing. We didn't really do anything, and that was perfect. I played some pool with my dad and just had a really nice time. So that definitely has to be a second highlight. Their house is sort of like this little boutique hotel almost in the middle of Galway, which is really, really nice. And the last thing was just from last weekend, which was me and Jack went to the Ivy, which is this really nice restaurant and hotel in Dublin. And we just went for dinner. We had a voucher that we had gotten for Christmas, and it was really lovely. We had such nice food, and it was just so nice to be out, especially because it was a little bit later than normal, having had the restrictions lifted for being out past 8. So those are my top 3, and I definitely do find that anytime I have like good moments like that I really enjoy, it's typically like revolving around people and food. So it's definitely something that, like, you'll see in my budget, I do tend to spend a good bit of money on that, but I do think it's worth it. And in terms of looking ahead to this next month, it's definitely something that I want to do more of. We have been usually quite good for doing our family dinners on a Sunday, but last month we only did, I think, like 2 out of a possible 5. So I definitely want us to make sure that we're doing that properly again this month. And also, me and Jack, I think, have been really enjoying our date nights, so to plan in a couple of things. So we made a list recently of places that we really want to go, and we started booking some places for the month of February, and just making sure that we're checking in with each other, because obviously we typically would hang out on a Friday more so, but then there's obviously going to be sometimes things where he's busy or I'm busy that we need to adjust to a different day, and just to make sure that we sort that in advance and don't just leave it hanging. So in terms of getting ready for a new month, I typically don't plan a lot of the month. What I will do is I will check out my year at a glance page to see if there is anything coming up. So obviously Valentine's Day is coming up, so I need to keep that in mind. I don't have any birthdays this month, so that's fine. I do have a week off from the drama school this month, so that's a really good thing for me to know when I'm planning my business work, that would be a good week to try and get a load of things done, because we don't have our weekly classes, so I do have a bit more time that I can get things done or get the staff doing training, because they will usually be in class, and also to do like a staff night out, so just to keep that in mind. And then the other thing is there is a publication date for a conference, and I don't think we're going to target that just because we are working on another paper, which I'll mention in a little while. So I'm going to put that in my calendar for the month just to be safe. But then when it comes to doing a monthly plan, the types of things that I like to put in are any, unchangeable dates like that. If there are any appointments that I have booked for February, I'll put those in. If I don't have really much going on in terms of the month, I will think about, do I need to book any appointments? So is there anything that I could add in? And then I will also add in a little bit about like the menstrual phases that I have going on this month. I just think that's a good thing to put in so that I have a good sense week to week what to be expecting from my brain. Usually I'll take a look at that then on a weekly planning and be like, oh, okay, this week I have, this phase, and that means I'll probably be feeling like this, and I should really think about how I'm planning my week with that in mind. So I'll add that in, and then I'll also just add in time for like social activities and time for friends and family, because it's something that I feel like when I get busy I will neglect a bit. It is something that I really value and that I really think is important. We have booked a weekend away for one of the weekends in February, because Jack got me a hotel voucher for my birthday, and we're going to go somewhere nice and just have a day or two really just relaxing and enjoying ourselves. And then I have booked a couple of dinners for the month with friends and with Jack. pretty much that will be it in terms of how I plan my month. I don't typically put in a huge amount, especially what I've found now with work is like I just try and get stuff done as quickly as I can. I find when I put too much information into a calendar, it just doesn't really help. And same thing for like a day-to-day basis, like to-do lists, I think are not necessarily something that I do unless I'm having difficulty working on something specific. I'll make a to-do list around it. But I have like my ongoing task list that I will then put some time into my calendar each week to get through some of that stuff. The other thing that I need to do around planning though is think about my content for the next month. So I don't typically plan Instagram content like out in a month unless I have some sort of sponsored post. So that I'll just do on a weekly basis, like make my content. But for YouTube, I definitely do like to plan out my content in a month, so I will just add into the calendar what videos I want to make, especially if I have any sponsored content for the month. I will basically add those in. Essentially what I've started doing with planning my videos is to try and not have too much of the same content, so a bit of a mixture basically between productivity content, PhD content, and then I suppose more vlog style content as well. So videos that you can expect to see from me this month, and do be sure to stick around and subscribe if you would like to see these. We have monthly reset going up today. How I organise my project notes in Notion. So I am working on a paper at the moment. I found the way that I organise my notes in Notion has been so helpful for getting the writing process started, which can always be a very difficult thing. I want to do like a self-care evening routine. I feel like that's really important and something really nice to do. I do have a video about how I use my iPad as a PhD student coming soon, a work week in my life, how I'm writing a paper, daily routine, and then at the end of the month I'll do another monthly reset. So I'd like to ideally have these going up on the last Sunday of the month. I think it'll depend month to month how that goes. I'm going to try and sort of sync it in with the like end of the 4-week cycle in the 12-week year. That is probably what you can expect to see this month. We'll see if that turns out to be exact. I do find I often need to change these around, especially if something happens with a sponsored video that I need to push back or bring forward. So we'll see, but it's nice to have somewhat of a plan. That just means that I'm not sitting down on a day to film with absolutely nothing in my head. The next thing that I'm going through is what are the projects that I'm taking on this month. And there are a number of projects that I will be taking on. One in particular is that with my PhD, I'm going to be working on a paper this month that we're going to be submitting to Nature, which is crazy. It's really hard to know how that's going to go, but I do know that they have quite a quick turnaround process, and I think either way I'll get great feedback, you know, really useful feedback, not necessarily good feedback, but really useful feedback that I can work off of. And it's definitely been a bit of a diversion because I'm learning how to write more of a natural sciences paper than what I've done so far, which is more of a computer science paper. And so it's definitely a big learning experience, and that's definitely one big project for this month. Other projects that I have then with the theatre school that I run as a business, there are literally an endless number of things we need to do this month, and I do think this month I need to just focus on getting all of the admin stuff sorted. So it's going to be sorting out our adult classes, sorting out our online classes, sorting out all of our retraining of staff, sorting out our employee handbook, sorting out a renewal of different licenses, sorting out a competition that we have this month, performances that we have this month. So there's a huge amount there, and I feel like that needs to be definitely in the forefront. And then in terms of like health and well-being, I have been good last month for going to the gym and doing regular sort of resistance training and cardio, but I haven't necessarily been doing the flexibility work and the evening routine kind of thing around that. So I do need to do that more, and I also need to do the same with my hobbies. So I did okay last month. I'll do a little bit of a review in a second, but I definitely need to pay better attention to that area. I do have a couple of brand deals this month that will need a lot of work, so I need to just keep up with those and just to secure my ones for sure for March as well. And then in terms of like household, all of that kind of thing, we're not really going to make too much progress, I think, in the house this month. We'd like to get rid of this bed and just put it into storage. So that we have better use of the space in the office. And we also need to get our joint finances sorted because we've had this form for ages, so I just need to put it in the post. And lastly, we also are booking a holiday, so that is going to be a project as well. And that's pretty much it for the projects. The last thing that I want to talk about is just sort of a review of like my hobbies for the last month. I don't know if anyone's gonna care, but basically last month this is sort of my creative outlet of hobbies, where I'm working on trying to read more in terms of all forms of literature, and also try to get a bit more into my own performance, and as well using Masterclass more, which is a online learning platform that I have a yearly subscription to. So last month I did take one masterclass, which was a writing masterclass by Amy Tan, and it was really, really good. It was basically all about using. So let's go through budgeting and finances for the month. Let's just go through the income starting off in February. So this is basically everything that went into my bank account at the end of January. So all of the money earned in January basically. So PhD stipend, €1,541.66. Teaching hours then, which is to do with the university doing extra teaching hours. This is a little bit higher than usual because I had some back pay. So that was €874.86. Typically it'd be closer to €300 or €400. Then for the theatre school, the business that I run, I just at the moment charge for like the teaching hours that I do and the admin I do, and not necessarily for like running the business. So what I earned from that this month was €1,187.09. Then all of the things related to YouTube. So firstly, AdSense revenue was €306.79. And that was a pretty typical month, €200-300 from AdSense. Some more sponsorships coming through recently. So in total that was €617.21. And then lastly, in terms of Notion sales, this was for the Notion template that I have. The total I earned in January was €1,231, which is insane. Thank you so much to everybody who has been purchasing the Notion template. I do not know if it's because I've been a bit more consistent and growing on Instagram, or if it's just because it's January and a lot of people will be purchasing around this time, but thank you so much. So in total then, my earnings for January coming into February is €5,758.61. So looking at January spending and then what I plan on spending in February in each category. So first of all, rent and bills. I spent €1,000 in January, and it's going to be €1,050 in February. In terms of stuff for the house, so we are working on the house. That is one of our goals, just to, you know, get it a bit more functional and have a bit more, I suppose, comfort in terms of what we have, if that makes sense. So the total we spent in that was €362.14 for the two of us. And it's going to be a big fat zero this next month, because that was essentially what we planned on spending in January and February. So we're trying to just put like €100 a month for that kind of thing each. So we've already spent close to €400 in the first month, so we won't be spending any this month, but then the following month we will be spending again. So I spent €240 on counselling, so it is €60 a week, and I do go once a week. It's going to be the exact same amount this next month. In terms of gym and fitness, I spent €102 in January, and that was because I hadn't cancelled my gym membership from my old area, and I also hadn't cancelled an online sort of fitness membership. So now I've cancelled both of those, so now it's just going to be the gym membership for where I currently live, which is €59 a month, which is expensive, but I really like the gym, so that's that. I spent €35 on a massage, won't be doing that this month. I also spent €37 on a bike lock, so I have started cycling again, which I've been really enjoying as a mode of transport, which means overall my transport for February will be a lot lower. So I've gone from, I won't be spending any money on the bike. I hopefully won't spend any money on taxis. I have zero down. I don't think I have a need for a taxi this month. I won't be getting the train because last month I did go to Galway, so I got a train ticket. And then I spent about €45 on buses last month, and I think this month I'll only spend about €20. So that's all of the transport. So total for transport this month basically is €20. Total for health and well-being, including counselling, is €299. And then total for home, house bills, all of that is €1,050 so far. Pharmacy stuff, I spent €59 last month on just bits in the pharmacy, and I bought these like reusable pads Again, won't be doing that this month, and it also means that I will be saving on like period products this month, which is good. Groceries. Last month I somehow spent €336.11 on groceries. I don't know how. I probably should look into this in more detail, but I don't feel like doing that right now. So I'm just going to see if I can cut back this month and see like what was a normal month, because we were in isolation, so it could have just been that we were getting more stuff. But yeah, it's a lot. So I have that cut down to 220 for this next month, which I still feel like is a lot. But anyways, this next category is all sort of like fun and hobbies related. I went to the bar once last month, paid €15.60 in total, and I'll probably go a couple times this month, so putting that up to €40. Entertainment subscriptions, €69 last month. I don't need that many things. So I had Amazon Prime, I had the National Theatre at home, I had Audible, I had Spotify, I had a few other things, I guess. So I've cut them all down. I've cancelled most of them for the moment to see what is it that I really need. And I put my Spotify subscription down to a student one because it just wasn't for some reason. So that is now €6 instead of €69. And then eating out last month was €103.25. And I put it up this month to 150, just because we will be eating out like once a week, and I think it's something that we enjoy spending our money on, so that will be probably continuing. And then takeout was 124 last month, put it down to €60 this month, just because last month we were in isolation for like Christmas and New Year's, so we did spend a little bit more. Coffees, then I put down $7.50 last month, and I just put it up to €15 just so that I have that if I want to go for coffee with someone. YouTube expenses and all of that, I had last month €38 and I put down this month €32. However, I already know that I've spent €240 on website stuff, so I'm going to go ahead and put that back up to about €275. Ugh. And then my phone is €35. Last month was €85 because I was paying for a couple of bills. And then I also wanted to buy a Kindle, so I've put down €100 for that. And I thought I was going to need to put down a lot more for like books, but I actually realized I had a $110 Amazon.com gift voucher. And because I obviously don't live in America, I would have never used that. So using it on the Kindle store, I bought like 10 books, so I'm delighted with myself. So that makes our total spend €2,270. My God. Right, that is a lot. I'm trying to basically not give in to like lifestyle creep, which is basically once you're earning more, you start spending more. I just don't want to do that. 5758.61 minus 2270. So I'm going to try not to go above that. So that leaves just about 3,500 for savings. So I put 700 in my emergency fund because I took 700 out this last month, which is very naughty, and I shouldn't do that. So I won't be doing that anymore. I'm going to try from now on to take out of the right funds, because I did set up different bank accounts now. I did have like all of my savings in one account, whereas now it's split up into emergency fund, mortgage fund, things I need. So like health, dentist, I think potentially counselling could come out of that fund, but like because it's on a monthly basis, I don't really see the point. And then things that I want, so holidays, birthdays, Christmas, treats, basically just building up a nest egg for all of that kind of thing. I just wanted to mention that the reason that I do that is because it can feel like a lot of money when you have a holiday or you have Christmas or you have a big sort of personal expense that you weren't expecting. It can feel like a big hit to your bank account. So I basically set aside these different funds so that it never really feels like too much, because it's not coming out of my current account, it's not coming out of my spending money, it's coming out of money that I've saved up for those purposes. Savings wise, I put €700 into my emergency fund, so now that's a total of €10,000 saved for emergencies. So if I ever don't have income for any reason, that's like a good 4 months of expenses. Mortgage, €1,000 into that. I'm hoping to just save €1,000 a month for the rest of the year for that. In my needs, I've put €1,000, and I'm probably going to reduce this over time. It's just that I am saving for braces, and it's probably going to be sometime in March that I have my appointment, so I just want to have that fund ready. And then I put €800 into the wants. Hopefully I'll save a little bit more if I can cut back on some of these expenses, but I'm looking at it being like, I don't really know. Obviously it's eating out and takeaway. It's basically, I suppose, €500 being spent on like food, coffee, going out, Spotify, takeaway, all of that, which maybe is a lot. That would be where I could cut back. But that's it for my budgeting for the month of February. The last thing that I want to talk about is just sort of a review of like my hobbies for the last month. I don't know if anyone's going to care, but basically this is sort of my creative outlet of hobbies where I'm working on trying to read more in terms of all forms of literature, and also try to get a bit more into my own performance, and as well using Masterclass more, which is a online learning platform that I have a yearly subscription to. So last month I did take one masterclass, which was a writing masterclass by Amy Tan, and it was really, really good. It was basically all about using your imagination and your own memories and like drawing from them to create really interesting stories, and I really enjoyed that. And I did do a bit of creative writing myself, which was really nice, but I could have done it more. So I would like to do more. I need to just sort of give myself more time for these things. And then the other one around reading, so things that I read last month. I read this book by Sally Rooney, and this is called Beautiful World, Where Are You? And Sally Rooney is definitely a very odd writer because of the way that she doesn't use quotes. She like just has character dialogue in normal text. And it is basically just capturing, I would say, what it's like to be in like situationship type relationships in Dublin. I do think it's a very apt representation of that. Yeah, there was parts I really didn't like, which was their email a lot, and I just don't like that. I found it really hard to read those parts, but then there was a lot of parts where I definitely did feel something, so I do mark pages. I know this is wrong to most people, but I do mark pages of where I have moments that I felt something, and I typically keep these for use as solo performance pieces for the drama school. I also read one play, which was Juno and the Paycock by Sean O'Casey, and that's sort of just capturing like working class Dublin, and he's a wonderful writer, and I read just one of his plays before and I wanted to read the other two, so I've just read one and I probably won't read the other one for a while. I also read another play which doesn't really, I don't know, does it count because it's really short, but it's Bar and Jur by Geraldine Anon, and this is Geraldine Aaron. It's a really interesting play because it's sort of a memory play, and there's just two characters going through all these different moments, which is really nice. And again, it makes a really good drama extract for students. Poetry wise, I read Paula Meehan poems this month and really enjoyed them. Paula Meehan wouldn't have been a poet I would have been hugely familiar with before, and it was really nice to get to know her work a bit, and I read some of those poems aloud myself and just really got into them. But again, all of these things I feel like I could have done a lot more. I basically had like one in each category, and I just feel perhaps it would have been possible to do a little bit more. So in order to make this habit a bit easier, what I've found with starting new habits is it is important to keep in mind the like key principle of Atomic Habits. I know it's one of them is like make it easy. So I've gotten myself a Kindle because I won't always have a book with me. I oftentimes have to bring like my laptop and my camera and either, you know, my iPad or something, so like fitting a book in as well can be a lot. So I've gotten a Kindle. That means I can carry books around a lot more easily, and I do feel that will make things a lot easier. I know there's nothing better than having a physical copy, but I think if I really like a book, I will get that copy. One thing is having all those books now, so I got 10 books on Amazon Kindle that I can read, and I have been finding that not having the what I'm going to read laid out is what's been slowing me down. So in terms of books, I'm going to be reading the books that I got. Short stories, I have this really nice book of short stories called Why the Moon Travels. Poetry, I'm going to be focusing on sonnets this month because it is February and sonnets are generally a romantic form of poetry, and it is one of my favourite forms, so I just think that would be a nice thing to focus on this month. And then in terms of plays, I would like to focus on Greek theatre this month. This just gives me a little bit more of a focus, and I'm hoping that that will help me. I'd also ideally like to go to see a live show this month at some point. Fingers crossed. Hopefully I'll get to do that. And in terms of masterclasses this month, I want to do, there's one on masterclass about voiceover acting, and I've done it before but I didn't really do it, if that makes sense. So I want to do actually the course and actually do the exercises and really spend some time working on my vocal skills for this month. Okay, so that is it for this sort of monthly reset and review and planning. I hope that you enjoyed it. I do think it was a bit of a diversion for me in terms of the structuring. I don't know if I picked the right way to structure it, but listen, I'd love to hear your opinions in the comments below. If you like this type of content, let me know so that I know to keep making more of it. Give this video a thumbs up, all of that good stuff. And of course, be sure to subscribe to see more. That is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next video.